Extreme team, we are going down the rabbit hole even further. Another Transformers piece from Prime One Studios from the Michael Bay films. And I gotta tell you, this one is a winner. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Extreme channel. For you new people, my name is Mr. X. This is Ironhide. He's a Transformer. Not really, it's a statue of Ironhide. But on this channel, we're all about extreme collectibles. My name is Mr. X, and I just got in this piece that is not brand new, but it's brand new to me. This is Ironhide from the Michael Bay Transformers movie, the first one. And this is made by a company called Prime One Studios, no relation to Optimus Prime, even though there is a little bit of history. And about a year ago, I decided, hey, for extreme collectibles, I'm going to start focusing on Transformers. And I am so glad I did, because there's just some absolutely amazing pieces. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do an extreme review. We're going to look at this guy. We're going to look at the unboxing, the assembly, paint, sculpt, concept. We're going to rate it on an extreme scale. But before we do that, we're actually doing a statue giveaway. We are going to hit 20,000 subscribers in 2020. To do that, we're giving away a statue every 2,500 subs. At 15,000 subs, the winner will get to choose between these two PCS Mortal Kombat statues. Make sure that you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Then stay tuned towards the end of this video to find out how to enter. So as I said in the intro, this is Ironhide. Now this is what they call non-scaled. So it doesn't have a scale. Usually with statues there's a scale saying, hey, he's 4 times smaller than he's supposed to be. There is no scale with this, but a lot of people think he is 10 times smaller, and we'll measure him during design. But as I said, this is from the first Transformers movie, which I quite enjoyed. And I really enjoyed the character of Ironhide. I ended up buying this from Prime One Studios directly, used their economy shipping for like 50 bucks. And he looks awesome. He really, really does. There's so much exciting stuff going on with him. Now, a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about is similar to the other Transformer pieces. Recently, I reviewed one of the biggest Transformer pieces ever, this Shockwave statue. You can check out the review right here. Now, Ironhide is an Autobot, so he is a good guy. And when he transforms, at least in that movie, he transforms into a custom GMC truck. And the truck looks badass. Ironhide is kind of the brawler, or the smartass, or the one who wants to beat everybody up. He's also the weapons specialist, which is demonstrated in this statue. We'll look at that as well.
My weapons specialist, Ironhide. You feeling lucky, punk?
I think he's one of the most beloved characters from that film, and this statue definitely does him justice. But let's dive into this review, and we're going to start with concept of this piece. Now with a movie piece on concept, we do look at accuracy. However, I don't want to go crazy with accuracy on this simply for the fact it's hard to tell in the movie because he's always moving and there's so many parts. So on the base they have, I say it every time, a Cybertronian base. It's actually really boring. I do like the paint on this one a little bit better. We're going to talk about. There's some Cybertron writing. And as you move up, Ironhide, like all the other Transformers, he's in a museum stance. So he's posing for a picture, but he has his weapons and his guns out, and he has some light-up features we're going to talk about. And within him, this is what I really like when they do these Transformers pieces. There's all the inner workings. So you see parts of engines in the truck that he turns into, the outer paneling. You're going to see some tires and some doors, and it just looks fabulous. I love the colors. I love the way it pops. And there's so many different moving parts. There was a ton of pieces when I put this together we'll look at during the assembly. And as you move up to the top of him, he just has that badass face. It's almost like a chipmunk or an animal type face, but a really badass one. And that is accurate to the movie. But it's so cool. I think this is honestly going to be one of my favorites. Now, one disadvantage to all the Prime One Studios Transformers is, while you can see certain parts of what he transforms into, he can't obviously transform. There's no moving parts, and you can't really see what he transforms into wholly. So I think that's a little bit of a disadvantage, but that's the only reason I would actually give it a knock. So for those reasons, I think when you look at the concept, we're going to grade it a 4 out of 5 or a rail. This is a pretty badass piece, and I think a lot of the other things we're going to talk into tie into that. So let's start with design. Now, just like any Transformers piece, there are so many different assembly pieces. So let's look at the assembly really quick right here. Since it's a smaller Transformer piece, I was surprised it came in 2 boxes that UPS actually taped together. Standard art box with any of the Transformers pieces, so it was 2 boxes, but it was actually 4 layers. Here is the second layer of the smaller box. It was the base. And then the large box had the big pieces of Ironhide inside. And one thing that was really surprising to me is for the first time ever, it had batteries with it. Maybe not the first time, but it's rare. Also, let's look at the dimensions. So his tallest point, and again, remember you can display him without the base, is just over 24 inches. His widest point, I would say, is on the base actually, is right under 21 inches. And then if you had to do depth, 15 and a half or so. So he doesn't take up a huge footprint for a transformer. Now it'll be interesting to see how he scales with the rest of the pieces. So if you want to see that, go ahead and check out the Extreme Channel Facebook page. The link is actually in the description below. If you like that, you'll get all the notifications of when I post exclusive pictures on there. Now, he doesn't have any switch outs, but he does have some light up features. Let's look at that. So first is his portrait. And something's wrong with my light up feature. It won't stay on, but it is what it is. And it's not that cool anyway. I'm not usually a huge fan of light up features. Also, both of his guns have a light up feature. His right arm right here is kind of this orange hue. And then the left arm is more of a clear. Now you guys know I like the option of light up features more specifically for other fans of the statue. I'm not a huge fan. I do like these quite a bit though. I do have to say that. So I give them a lot of props for that. I think they put up the light up features in the right place, but I will never use them. And as you saw in the video, they actually gave us batteries, which is really rare, which is awesome that they'll give you $2 worth of batteries in a $1,600 statue. And obviously that was laced with sarcasm, but sometimes they don't. So overall on the design, I think this is one of the best designed ones. I think it's also a 4 out of 5 on the design. The one negative thing ties into the fact that it doesn't transform and there's so many loose pieces. I think that would be really the biggest negative. Now let's talk about paint and sculpt. And normally I do still photos and I do voiceovers, but I'm going to do a video of this guy simply for the fact there is so much going on, and I'm probably still going to miss a lot of it, to be honest with you. But a lot of it is fantastic, so let's check that out. So as I said, I'm not going to be able to cover everything on him, but let's start at the base. I probably like this base more than the other Transformers ones because it's not clean. A lot of the heroes or the Autobots, it's always clean. This is really dingy and dirty. I like the shadowing and the paint they added, and it's not this traditional silver, almost kind of a copper tone to it. Now it has some grates and things like that at the top, so it's not as boring. And some of these ridges on the side with, like I said, the Cybertron writing. Look at this. I love how dirty this is, especially you're going to see a lot of that on Ironhide as well. Almost makes you think he's in the middle of fighting or he's just a truck that leaks oil. Or Earl, as I call it. Just like most Transformers, has some wicked feet. All these different appendages coming out. Never a huge fan of their feet, but I never saw them in the movies, so. And what you're going to see as we move through them, you're going to see a combination of the colors of silvers and grays with like kind of that dirty shadowing on it. And then the blue or blackish blue color. It's hard to tell. I think in the movie it was more black. It looks blue under certain lights, but it's not a dark blue. It's kind of interesting to see. And then you have a lot of like mud texture on it. Not only texture, but paint. The paintwork more specifically looks great. And then these gold fittings, both parts of the motor and the statue itself, the robotic part of him. Sometimes it's hard to tell which part is robot, which part is automobile. And granted, they are one and the same, but is it fully transformed or not? So as we move up the back, you see a lot of the stuff we were just talking about. And keep in mind, this is the back. All this detail going on is stuff you would never see, which is what I really love about it. Of course, you could have them as a centerpiece, but I don't think most people would. Some of the lights, classic Autobot symbol. And the lighting will greatly vary with this. I obviously have a number of spotlights on him. Some of his ammo right here. We'll look at the front. These shoulder pads look great. The paint is fabulous on this. So let's move around, start at the front. Again, more working mechanisms, almost like a belt right there. Maybe an oil can or two. I love what they did here. The colors, the sculpt, very well done. And a lot of the Transformers are similar to this, but for some reason I'm really digging this. Here you can see part of his tires. They have some mud in them, so it continues to tell that same story. Front of the car there. That was 4,500. Look at that. You can see the wheels and even brake pads. How cool is that? The tires below it. More of that mud. Let's take a look at his guns here. Tons of inner workings. This is where the detail is really advanced. A lot of circuitry. His hands right here, closed fists. You know, initially on the instructions it said switch out, but they're not really a switch out. You can display both of them together. And look at the advancements on this side of the gun. There's just so much going on. So let's take a look at his portrait. Like I said, it's almost like a chipmunk type portrait, but this is how it was in the movie. His portrait I'm not a huge fan of, but they did it very well. So it matches the movie, decently accurate, a lot of inner workings and parts. I like in the movie how they had, even their mouth was pieces that transformed. So just another once over for you guys. Very, very cool on all aspects. So recently I did a top Transformers video statue, and obviously he wasn't in it because he hadn't arrived at the time I filmed it. But man, he is probably my favorite smaller one. He might have moved to number 3 because he's great. So I think overall, let's talk about the sculpt first. The sculpt on him is phenomenal. There's so much little stuff going on. I think there's a little bit of micro detail that could have been done on the robotic parts to put it to the next level. There was some in the arms, but the legs would have helped it. So I think it's a 4 out of 5, almost a 5 out of 5, but a 4 out of 5 on the sculpt on this piece. Paint, I am loving the paint on this piece. And it's not just the popping colors, but the rust colors and the dirtied effects and the gold they added, the coppers. It's really well done. I think the paint's a 5 out of 5. Very, very cool. So let's talk about value on this piece. So he was $1,600. They made 850 of these. 500 are the collector's or regular version, which is what this is. 350 had an exclusive. It was a brawl head right here. Not only did I not care for this, but it was sold out anyway, so it wasn't really a big deal. Now at $1,600, that's a lot for a smaller Transformer statue. But most of these sell for a lot more on the aftermarket. I have no doubt I could probably get my money back on him once he sells out. I'm surprised he's still in stock. But I think overall value is right in the middle. It's a 3 out of 5. $1,600 plus 50 to 100 economy shipping is quite a bit for this statue, but he is a fantastic looking statue. I think one thing that hurts him is, people are going to get Transformer statues and they're not going the whole line. They're going to look at Megatron or Optimus, those high-end main characters where he is not one. So does this have the X Factor? Now, as a reminder, the X Factor is not a cumulative score. It's, am I wowed by this statue? Wow, I am so glad I own this. I'm so glad I have it, especially the viewpoint I have right now of him. Absolutely, he's a 5 out of 5 to me. This statue, I was going to put him on a lower shelf. He's going to go on an upper shelf for sure. And I really am digging those light up features. Too bad I can't have them on all the time. But fantastic job by Prime One Studios. This is one of the best from the collection. And again, I'm still shocked that it's available on their website. Now throw in the comments below because it'll enter you into a contest for a monthly prize. What is your favorite Transformer statue? Do you think this is as good as I think it is? Throw that below as well. Because commenting will not only open the possibility of a monthly extras, some merchandise, however, it may earn you this. To win one of these Mortal Kombat statues, all you have to do is comment on a video. At 15,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick a random video and pick a random comment. That person will win the prize. They can choose between these two pieces. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So that's all we got today. However, make sure if you haven't subscribed, hit that Mr. X logo. That way you can see all these upcoming pieces. Also, check out some of the older pieces in these other Prime One Studios statues review. I'm not going to edit that out. Screw it. Take care of yourself. I'll talk to you tomorrow.